I used to work in radio. I was an afternoon drive personality, and then I became a broadcast engineer, and then I became an IT manager, and there were periods of time where that overlapped. But my experience in that industry, I got to see a lot of different radio station operations, and one of the things I did was I made a piece of software for the newsroom. And so I have some firsthand experience in how difficult and time-consuming and kind of annoying the process of gathering news for broadcast is, and to put it together, to keep it organized. You got to call all your sources. It's a lot of work. It's time consuming. It requires skilled staff doing a lot of labor. And guess what? Here comes AI, and everyone's trying to... also, the thing I learned in the radio industry is they desperately squeezing blood from a stone when it comes to money in a lot of ways. Legacy media is struggling with that in a big way. So along comes AI, and it's no surprise that folks at the top are attempting to squeeze even more blood from that stone with even fewer stones to squeeze said blood from, resulting in things like this. This is from Media Watch, which is an Australian news site. If anyone from Australia is watching, hey, Matt Bliss, let me know if this is like a disreputable site. I tried to check it out. It seems pretty okay. But I'm not going to play this guy's entire report, but he'll key up the meat of this segment better than I will. So take it away, sharp-looking dude.
And now to the gorgeous New South Wales town of Coffs Harbour, where FM radio lovers were delivered this midday bulletin last Thursday by Triple M's local newsreader.
Hey, I'm Tessa Randello with your local headlines. A Mid-North Coast nurse is in the running for Senior Australian of the Year.
She also brought the New South Wales Riverina its midday news some 900 kilometres away.
Hey, I'm Tessa Randello with your local headlines.
And miraculously, 3.5 hours up the highway in the New South Wales town of Orange too.
Hey, I'm Tessa Randello with your local headlines. A driver's been charged after a collision with an e-bike.
Yes, last Thursday, Southern Cross Austereo newsreader Tessa Randello, who is actually based in Sydney, voiced as many as 39 bulletins across 4 local regions. The day before, she was bringing the news of North Queensland to Townsville.
Townsville's 102.3.
Hey, I'm Tessa Randello with your local headlines.
And Cairns.
Rangers have trapped and removed a crocodile after a teenager was attacked at a beach on the weekend.
For the past few weeks, Tessa Randello has been made to voice more bulletins in more regions. And she's not the only Southern Cross Austereo newsreader doing so, because the company's Razor Gang has been busy slashing staff across its brands, including Triple M, the Hit Network, and on-demand audio platform Listener, leaving the few remaining newsreaders to voice scores of regional bulletins.
This is going to go on more and more like this, so we'll break it off here, and I'll go in. But basically, so it's not any new thing to have one radio personality voicing a lot of stuff. We had people in one part of the state voicing stuff for a different part of the state all the time.
Yeah.
It was pretty common, remote tracking. However, this company, SCA, which is make sure I don't get this wrong, Southern Cross Austereos, which is one of the biggest radio companies in Australia, they have been really leaning hard into AI with this in-house tool that they've been building. And he gets into it later in the report. But basically, the Broadcasting Services Act in Australia requires radio stations to broadcast at least 62.5 minutes a week of local news, which is considered such a pain in the butt to SCA that they've been looking to replace their journalists with robots for a long time. They have said things like, one of the things we tried to work out was how much optimization of AI can there be. The outcome was a headcount reduction. There's been a lot of firings from that industry recently, and reductions with inside sources from there saying that they are absolutely related to their use of AI. I do have a quick statement here from the company itself. I think I misplaced this tab in my other browser window.
62.5 minutes a week of local news is considered a burden.
Well, it is if you are just an executive who wants to own a radio station to make money without doing your public good. I mean, we have similar. I don't think we don't have the same time restrictions, but when you get your broadcast license, you have to be broadcasting in the public interest and all of these things.
Yeah,
bit fuzzy here.
That's less than 10 minutes a day.
Yeah. I mean, technically, I guess as long as we run this show over an hour and 3 minutes, if we kept things local, our once a week thing would count, right?
Yeah.
That's really not that much. I misplaced a few key tabs that I wanted to show on the screen, which is frustrating. However, what I can tell you is that they built this in-house tool whose name I forget. They basically have automated their newsroom as much as possible. So the idea was you wake up in the morning, it has already gathered, collated, written the stories, and then as a newsreader, you sit there and you rip and read.
Yeah.
And then they've talked about wanting to voice clone all of their talent. They have had... Here later in this report, the radio company's been making steady progress into a synthetic future with AI already driving its Fuel Watch segments, with many of its weather reports voiced not by Sydney News lead Amy Goggins, but by a digital clone of her voice. So they are really leaning all in to AI broadcasters and AI created content in the news. We just saw Fox News reporting in our previous segment on a piece of AI generated content. I have yet to see, and I guess yet to see is the thing, any news stations here fully openly saying like, here's fully AI generated stuff in our mainstream outlets. But then again, there's this photo that I stumbled on from the OpenAI subreddit of a magazine. It has an article about the fiscal year's performance for like the automotive market. And at the very end of this article, for the viewers who are watching, you can see circled in red at the end of this article is like, if you want, I can also create an even snappier front page style version with punchy one-line stats and bold infographic ready layout, perfect for maximum reader impact. Do you want me to do that next? So the article is followed up by the standard ChatGPT's engagement baiting next question thing that they did not seem to cut out. It was a newspaper in Pakistan, their English daily Dawn newspaper.
So there has been, and this has been around for a while, there's a company called Channel1.ai that is saying that they want to be able to power the first kind of fully AI news station. That's not great. Like I first saw the first showcase that they did 2 years ago, I think, and I've not really seen any uptake or progress from them since then. I'm just checking now, their website's still online, but it's much less like out in your face now than it was before. I think they're, because before it was like on their homepage, if I remember right, they had, the broadcast embedded, full examples of it. It wasn't great. It was kind of like Synthesia or HeyGen style avatars that still had a lot of uncanniness. And now it seems like they pulled that back and they're doing like screenshots more than actually showing the stuff. And they're talking about all the press that they've gotten and asking for investment.
Oh, okay. So they're not exactly performing great in the landscape of see, the thing that I don't understand,
as far as
is
I can tell,
we choose to employ AI in things that like the value provided to them is very much a human value, like an investigative reporter following leads, following sources of information, and like following that narrative. Like the systems are not capable of that. We are replacing things where the value of the thing comes from a lot of labor that cannot be replicated by those machines. Whereas I'm sure the executives making the decisions to employ these, the things they do on a day-to-day could probably be more easily automated away by these machines.
It's middle management that really needs to worry more about AI, but middle management, and senior management are the ones to right now be trying to dictate where the cuts are coming from. But
and they're always on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. I think what we start to see, though, is when ideation, like real good ideas about how AI can help come up, it comes up from people who are on the ground doing things that are like, oh, I can give the AI this thing and it saves me X amount of time so that I can, produce a higher quality output. But it's almost never the thing that the CEO thinks is going to be like the big AI project. It is these little incremental time savings things that when you do add it up are hugely transformative, but it's not the first thing that an executive typically thinks of.
Yeah. And when you are degrading like your offering of what you're actually providing as a service, like it just sucks. AI generated local news read by someone, like having someone read it who is not local to you isn't really the problem. Like if these stories were written by people who are like plugged into the local news scene, but no, they're just AI scraping whatever website. Like there's no real guarantee that any of that is really well reported on at all. It's
like, how do they vet that as well? Right. Mm-hmm. Do you think that they're actually going through and vetting every story and making sure that it's source grounded well? And all that.
They made a statement about it that I've been desperately trying to find the link to. I'm so mad that I closed it, where they basically said like, oh, this allows our newsreaders to more effectively vet things, yada, yada. But in reality, they're handing a giant stack of stories to be read by someone and saying, also check them, I guess. They're not. When you do this, when you go in every day and you are just like asked to take care of this pile of things and you've got to read and cut down 50, 60 stories before lunch, and then you've got to go track your afternoon show or whatever and then prep for this event, you're not going to, it's a constant race to the bottom. And like, particularly, I feel like particularly in radio, but it might just be my own lived experience. Like I'm not surprised at all that this is happening. I wouldn't be surprised to see things like this come out more in US-based radio stations. But I mean, we've already got those down to a very thin margin of science, especially with some of the bigger conglomerates. I won't get too spicy on it because it'll probably be boring for anyone who's not super into radio. But that race to the bottom in media and the fact that it's starting in news is really frustrating.
Well, and I think here in the US, we've had a whole bunch of voice automation on radio already, right? So the big difference here would be, am I outsourcing my news writing to AI? And then I guess starting to move more towards generative AI and more, I guess, more of a variety of voice styles that can be replicated.
But it's also like it's not inherently bad. Like I would be on several stations at a day. I would track an afternoon show on the pop station. I would then track my midday show on the like throwback station, and maybe I'd subbed in on the country morning station that day. Like it's not unusual to have hosts spread across different things or people prepping different shows, but to essentially take away all the agency and just be like, you are essentially an AI voice now, but just as a person. Right. And then in this case, they're even using a lot of AI generated voices. I mean, this is the same group that was responsible for Thigh, if you remember back, or Thy, fully AI generated host. Same folks.
Okay, gotcha. Well, that tracks.
Yeah. So anyway,
unintended.
Yeah, that tracks. That voice tracks. So that's just that. That was sent in by other Discord community member and also future paperclip. More Blessing. So thank you, More Blessing, for sending that one in. You should join our Discord. There's FAIK.2/Discord. Also a link in the show notes. And I think we got one more segment, Perry, right?
We do.
Please tell me it's going to be like happy or positive or at all.
It will be reality expanding.
Ah, dang it. That doesn't mean good. All right, stick around.